Just a heads up before the video starts, I've got a bit of a sore throat, so the audio in this video is going to be a bit bleh. Hello everyone and welcome to Takagi-san Season 3 First Impressions Episode 7. Thank you for bearing with me through my mid-season crisis last week, but just as the show has returned to its status quo, so too shall I. But first, how do I feel about the show returning to normal after the absolute bombshell that dropped last episode? Well, I think Episode 7 gives us the bare minimum that I advised you to expect going forward. So I'm neither disappointed nor elated. We start with an adaptation of the manga's 111th chapter, Dog Walk, adapted here as On a Walk. On the one hand, it's a shame that we didn't get a dog adaptation first, but on the other hand, it's probably for the best. Nishikata was actually rather cruel in that chapter. Cruel to an extent that it would be considered uncharacteristic by this point of the overall story, so I can live with not having a dog adaptation. What I love most about On a Walk is the comparison between Nishikata's love for dogs and his romantic interest in Takagi. Nishikata says he isn't obsessed with dogs the same way he would tell someone that there isn't anything going on between him and Takagi. When Takagi shows him the image at the end, the surface level meaning is, I have proof that you love dogs. But in terms of the entire series, what she really has proof of is that Nishikata has genuine feelings that he will put a great deal of effort into covering up, which could apply to his feelings for her. This isn't any sort of revelation. We've known that Nishikata has liked Takagi since Eraser, but it's a different way to explore the same idea. Next, we have an adaptation that I was really hoping we would see, an adaptation of the manga's 101st chapter, Forgotten Homework, adapted here as Left at School. This story is what helps this episode reach the bare minimum expectation. By which I mean it acknowledges that the Culture Festival did happen and that it's something that Nishikata has on his mind. This story is kind of strange, but simultaneously acts as a minor regression for Nishikata. Sure, the stakes aren't the same, but it feels odd to have a story where Nishikata ditches Takagi over what his friends might think after the summer festival incident. On the other hand, his running into Mano and Nakai gives a little more insight into how they see Nishikata and Takagi's relationship. Remember the first time they met? Mano was desperate to not have Nakai interfere with the pair, as their friendship was still in a fragile state. By camping trip, she doesn't get in his way when he wishes Nishikata luck, and here, while she tries to move him along, she gets in on the teasing. The story overall emphasizes the idea of these two becoming a couple, by the implication of them being there and Takagi wanting to stay. On its own, this story doesn't tell us anything new, but I hope it can be made retrospectively important later in the season. Next, we got the B-plot trio, something outside perspective of Takagi and Nishikata's relationship, something Christmas foreshadowing, moving on. Last but not least, we have an adaptation of the manga's 97th chapter, Knitting. I like that Nishikata is now owning the fact that he loves dogs, now that the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. I also like that this is a story where Nishikata genuinely appreciates Takagi for her skills and shows genuine interest. I get the sense that Nishikata's prying as to who Takagi is creating this gift for is a hint that he would someday appreciate a gift like this from her. Saying that he needed to know to give advice was a good save, but I doubt that was his primary motivation. It's another story where Takagi spurs on feelings of jealousy from Nishikata, and he has to contend with these feelings and wonder what they are. It's a bit of a nasty trick, but reminding Nishikata that his time is limited isn't necessarily a bad thing. And Takagi smiling at the end is an acknowledgement that that is exactly what she was going for. So all in all, episode 7 returns us to the status quo with a little spice added from the Culture Festival. Would it have been nice to see the characters further explore the ending of that episode? Yes. Am I disappointed that they didn't? Not really. We still have 5 episodes to go, so we can't really know how episode 7 will measure up yet. But in the meantime, it's a comfortable little piece of the Takagi-san run, and I enjoyed it. That's all for this first impressions video. I'd like to thank my patrons: Orion Tran, Lars Espen, Data52, Jaman5, Lemon Shark, Pixcalibur, Alberto Cruz, Tyler Bennett, Tenka, Jeremy Pashik, Fireclaw, Soren, Christopher Wang, Will, Mario, Luke Stewart, and Ignacio. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.